What's up, traders? Anthony Crudele here, and welcome to this week's episode of Develop Your Edge. In today's show, we're going to talk about why you shouldn't be searching for validation of your trade ideas. You should be looking to be challenged. But before we get into that, let me take you to this week's Ninjatrader Charting Edge. All right, everybody, you know the drill. Every week, I go over what I see as an edge going into the next week of trading. I've been pulling up daily charts quite a bit lately. Ethereum, gold, and Nasdaq. This week I'm going to go over all three because what's something that I talk about all the time? Environment, environment, environment. Ethereum is on a daily chart here, 20 period, 3 standard deviation Bollinger Bands, 10-day moving averages in the red. Gold is the middle Bollinger Band. And what I think is so important for traders in your preparation is to look for the one side of the market that you really want to be on. The mistake I used to make as a young trader was just trying to find edges on the short side, on the long side, just trying to find any edge I could intraday for a possible trade. And I wasn't favoring one side that had the more dominant trend. Once again, what's important? The environment. And I think you should be able to go through your charts quickly to identify the environment in all of your markets. So I'm going to take you through my process quickly today. Like we said, we got ETH here on a daily. What have I been talking about? Ethereum had this big move higher. Bollinger Band started to come back in, and now we have a Bollinger Band peaks inside previous peaks that are much bigger. What have I been saying? Consolidation, range bound, testing the bottom part of the range, testing the top part of the range. So in any positions that I have, I know that I should be trading smaller and to be covering my positions and probably a little bit tighter with my stops near the bottom and near the top. I'm not shorting crypto, but really looking for more longs only in Ethereum. But I know it's a range-bound market. So my mindset is I'm not trading both sides. I'm still only trading long, but to just know that my targets aren't going to be that far. The market's probably going to continue to chop. So that's my mindset with Ethereum. Keep it light and tight. Now I want to pull up gold. Gold is actually my favorite environment right now of all the markets that I'm trading. Move higher, comes back in, right? Pretty big Bollinger Band peaks. Got below the 10-day moving average. Now you have peaks that are higher than the previous peaks. Holding the recent lows back above the 10-day moving average. What did I say? I actually scaled out of some of my gold longs. This to me is consolidation on the bigger picture with the potential of a much higher move. Why? Because the Bollinger Band peaks are higher. We held the recent lows. We're back above the 10-day. Bollinger Bands are coming in. So the environment to me is try to get long on the dips and trail some stops and look for a possible higher move. Unlike with Ethereum to me, I'm covering right away on any sort of pop because I know it's really range bound, light and tight. With gold, it's scale out, get some profit, and look for that potential move higher. So that's what I'm looking at here in gold. Let me take you to Nasdaq. Nasdaq, very different from the two, but could start to get very interesting here. And I talked about this actually in my live stream on Futures Radio show last week. So we have this massive uptrend. Let's face it, we all know Nasdaq's in a massive uptrend. Bollinger Bands are taking out the previous peaks. Nasdaq's hugging and holding above the 10-day moving average, just doing its thing to the upside. What I said last week is that when we start to get near these previous peaks, that tells me we're at resistance. That worries me for being too bullish here. Back in here, you could be really bullish. Now it's telling me that what? The environment is still bullish, but it's near its end. Look to buy dips, but be very quick to cover on the rallies because I think we're getting a little toppy here. Once these Bollinger Bands start to come back in, I actually think that we could be looking at shorts in Nasdaq. Nasdaq, unlike ETH, I will trade short, but we have to wait for that setup. But once again, it's just about clarity and confidence coming into each day. And that's this week's Ninjatrader Charting Edge. Now, let me pull up a tweet. I don't need or want people to agree with me in my thinking about trading or the markets. I want people to challenge my thinking. As a trader, I don't need validation of my ideas. I want to be challenged in my thinking so I can get better. The time in my career where I struggled the most was when I tried to be like traders that were better than me. You can learn from other traders, but it is impossible to be other traders. And I think one of the biggest problems that I see on FinTwit Twitter is that people see traders putting out all of this content and they see all of these trade ideas. And I've noticed that many traders will like the ideas that validate their thinking. And they really don't like the ideas that challenge their thinking. And my mindset is completely different. I want to be challenged. I don't need somebody else to tell me that my ideas are good. I don't want to be like somebody else. I don't want somebody else to tell me what to think. The point of Develop Your Edge is, and I talked about this with Candy and many of the other guests that were on the show, each and every week we're working on developing it. And in order to do that, in order to actually develop an edge, you have to be challenged. Just don't look for validation. One of the best comments I got, I think it was on YouTube, maybe it was in my Twitter DM, a trader sent me a message saying, Anthony, I love your shows. I love Develop Your Edge every week, but I don't always agree with you. And I was like, great, this is the best comment someone could send me. I love that someone's tuning in, of course, but I love that they don't always agree with me. I don't want you to always agree with me. I learn from my guests. I learn from other traders on Twitter. I want to be challenged in my thinking. I showed you my process today on what I go through to determine the environment in ETH, Nasdaq, gold. I look at other traders not to validate that. I know my work. I believe in my work. I don't want them to tell me how to be like them. I want them to show me something to challenge my thinking. Maybe I'm wrong about the environment. That's how we get better. That's how we develop our edge, by being challenged, not looking for validation. Hang tight, I'll be right back with my final thoughts.
24/7 access to diverse global markets. Right here.
That's why I added stock index futures to my trading strategy. Now when I see ups and downs coming, I'm ready.
Well played.
Final thoughts for today, traders. I put this tweet out the other day and got a few questions about it. When I'm trading good, losses feel like small wins. I don't care how long we've been doing this, traders. Sometimes losing can be really frustrating. I'm one of the most competitive people you will ever meet. And sometimes when I'm trading bad, losses just build up that frustration. You just feel it in your body. And then you tend to make mistakes following that. But when I'm trading good, losses sometimes feel like wins. It's all about being in the flow of execution. It's about being confident in your execution. Remember, everybody, micro crude oil futures are now live at CME Group. To learn more about micro crude oil futures, go to activetrader.cmegroup.com. If you're enjoying the show, click that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. You could also DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open at Anthony Crudele. And don't forget to check out Instagram at Anthony C. Crudele. That's a wrap for today. See you next week.